Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to do part two of the Honda video. So you probably remember that not too long ago I talked to you guys about this Honda that got donated to us, and we were told that it has a bad head gasket, right? And we're going to do a gasket replacement on it, but we're going to verify the gasket's bad first, like any reasonable person would. Um, but before we go digging on it and start showing you guys how to pull the head, replace the gasket, or do a compression test or anything like that, I wanted to start with something very basic. Uh, the basic thing being, how do you know that you need to check for a blown head gasket, right? So let's pretend that this Honda came in to us as technicians, and the service advisor gave us a repair order that just had some symptoms on it, right? So what do you guys think would be the symptoms that would lead us into thinking, let's test this compression on this guy and see if we got any kind of indicators of a head gasket leak, right? So if you have a head gasket leak, it could result in a couple of things, right? The head gasket is what helps seal the cylinder head to the block and prevents fluid from coolant that travels through the head, through the block, in its proper passages, and doesn't let it go to places it shouldn't go. That and oil also. So one thing that could happen if you had a blown head gasket is that you could be getting coolant or oil into a cylinder, and that would be producing some smoke, right? So if the symptoms had said, if the driver had bought it in and said, you know, this Honda is smoking, uh, white smoke, smells funny, or gray smoke, or, you know, we would be probably, all right, somehow something's getting in the cylinders that shouldn't. And the most usual place that's happening is the head gasket, and we would go from there. Another thing that could potentially have been said to the service advisor would be, this thing used to run pretty well, but it's kind of gutless now. So that could happen when you have a compression loss between two cylinders at the head gasket. So you got two adjacent cylinders and the head gasket between them is cracked, then you're losing compression in the cylinder that's on the compression stroke, and you're losing the power that would end up helping us create. So it could be a result of loss in power, could also be something, but there's so many other things that a loss of power could entail that might be a little bit harder to track down if it was the only symptom. That combined with burning oil and coolant makes it a little easier. But if it was, we would, you know, check the obvious things, fuel filters, and stuff like that that could cause a power loss, dirty air filters. Check the obvious stuff before you tear an engine apart, of course. Um, so really, those are kind of the big factors. Would be smoking, loss of power. It could potentially even cause some overheating. And then you got the oblivious people that don't notice the smoke, or they don't notice a loss of power, but they do notice that they're having to put coolant in their reservoir every week, right? So coolant's not supposed to go anywhere; it's supposed to stay there. So if there's no external leak that you can see dripping underneath the car, then that might also be a good indicator of a failed head gasket. So you never want to assume anything, right? So the next step that we're going to do in the video after this one is we're going to talk a little bit about uh, how to verify that there is a problem up there in the cylinder head area, right? And a compression test can tell you a lot of information about what's going on up there. If you have low compression on two adjacent cylinders, that gives you an idea that maybe the crack in the head gasket is between those two cylinders. If there's a loss of compression in maybe just one cylinder and you're burning and blowing out some smoke, then that might tell you that the head gasket has failed right in that area. But one thing that is overlooked when we do this process, and after we do the compression test and we verify that something is there, one thing that I want to point out, and I'll point it out again when we're doing it because it's really important, is be very careful when you're removing a cylinder head because of something like this, because you want to inspect that head gasket, right? See if you can find that crack, see if you can find the reason why it was leaking. If you take a head gasket off carefully and you can inspect it and find that and verify it, it'll make you feel a lot more comfortable about putting a new gasket on, torquing the head back down, putting everything back together. If the gasket looks like it's in really good shape, then you might have bigger issues than a bad head gasket, okay? So keep in mind that you could have a cylinder head that's cracked that might be causing the exact same symptoms. You could have a crack in the block between cylinders or at a cylinder that might be causing the same symptoms. While those are a lot more rare than a failed head gasket, they can happen. So the next video, when we have time and I get some people to come out here and help me film and stuff, we'll start by showing you guys how to do a compression test, and then we'll see what those results show us, and we'll go on with our Honda videos from there. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on the Honda videos, let you know that we are working on it, and I wanted to just share with you guys some of the things that would go along with this kind of repair that we're doing, so that it's not just a, hey, let's hook up a compression tester for no reason. There's a reason why we're doing it, right? So hope you guys have a great day. We just got a whole bunch of new subscribers. The relationship with AAI is going well. So if there's any alumni out there watching, please keep in touch. Come by the school if you still live in the local area. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Any money we eventually make off of this YouTube channel, I'm going to be funneling a good portion of that back into the school to help us buy training aids. So the more you watch the videos on this channel, the more you're helping your old school out, right? And for those of you that aren't alumni but just like to help out future technicians, this is a good way to do it. Watch these videos, share the videos, and help us raise some money for these kids to learn how to work on some of the newer stuff. All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Bye.